Hi, Lori. Listen, I'm going to show you three different breads. The one I'm going to show you now doesn't require a starter or a biga. So it's called Pane Siciliano. And so what I do first is, and you might not have to do this because it's hot where you are, but I boil some water, put it in something like this, and I stick it in here. And that's where I'll proof my bread. So this is basically white flour and a little bit of semolina. And semolina is that pasta flour that you probably get at your grocery store.
It's bread flour.
What is?
The white flour is bread flour.
This is bread flour. This is semolina.
Right.
You will probably won't have to go to some kind of special store because I know I can get mine at Hannaford and they sell it in these little bricks for like a couple bucks. So you want to start with 2 cups of water that is around 95 degrees. So let's check that. You need another bowl that you're going to transfer your kneaded dough into and just slightly spray that. So the other thing is I use a metal bowl, so I put hot water in it at first so that the bowl is warm too. So this is a really easy bread to make. And yeah, this is 94 degrees. That's good. So I'll pour the water in the bowl. This is like an Italian loaf that's got like a really great chew. And then I will put in a tablespoon and a half of kosher salt. Get 1 and a half. This is something cool you ought to have. I don't even know what they call these, but they're you get them at food stores and it flexes like that. But I don't know what I would do if I didn't know what this is called. But I don't know what I would do without that. So a tablespoon and a half of salt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, right on, and then 1/2 cup of semolina. Like that. And then like 6 cups of bread flour. So unless you want to use weight, and I don't know the weight, if you're going to measure it right out of your bucket, it's important that you don't scoop your flour because you won't get an accurate measurement. So what I've been told to do is you just kind of fluff it and then fluff it into the cup, and then what extra you eat. So that's 1. This is our jammy series. We're all on our jammies. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it's, let me get this thing, just yeast. So we're going to do, I believe it's 2.5 teaspoons, 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. So I use instant yeast, instant rise yeast. What did I do with my measurers? So 2 1/4 of these is 1. 2 1/4. So this isn't like something you have to have, but it's really cool. I told you about this, the diastatic malt. We get it at King Arthur's, and it's just basically more food for the yeast. And I throw in like a couple teaspoons of this. Actually, that looks like one. Two. So this is the part I really wanted you to see. This is the thing. This is the thing that makes this different than any other bread I've ever seen made. So you mix this up. Do you need this move? Now when I look at this now, because I know what I want, this, and you never know, humidity makes a difference, dryness makes a difference. It doesn't really matter. What you want is just to get it to where you have the consistency that you want. And so this is too dry. I'm gonna get some warm water. I'm gonna add it till I think it's right. Wetter is better. This is still too dry. So I'm going to dump that out now. I'm going to add a little more and work it here. I'm just going to flour this. Dump this out. That's what's really cool about this thing. So now it's basically ready, and we're just going to start kneading it the way I was trying to tell you. It's hard to explain how to do this if you don't see it. So, and sometimes you think that you need to add water, but the more you knead this, the more it moves, the more the water gets through it, and it gets wetter and wetter sometimes. So I'm going to start with this. See how it's moving? I leave it there. See how it's moving, and I still think it's a little bit too dry, but I'm going to start. So what you do is you take your fingertips like this. It's still too dry. You take your fingertips like this, you pick it up and you flop it forward. Then you come a quarter turn around, pick it up, flop it forward. Flop it forward. Like this. And at first it looks like kind of a mess.
It's very sticky at first.
It's very sticky. The reason you use your fingertips, because if you start to muckle this thing, you might not be able to let it go. It's still too wet. I mean, too dry. So let's see. I'm going to work that water through it. And sometimes if you give it a snap, you can actually let go of it. I don't need that. Yeah, it's very wet. You can see it's getting all over my fingers. This is right. This feels about right. It's quite wet. See how if you go fast, it won't stick to the board. I'm going to do this 2 or 3 minutes. And this is harder than it looks. I'm not going to lie to you. Some people,
Yeah, I couldn't really get it.
some people struggle with this
it.
like you can't believe. What happened with me is I came home and like I knew what that guy showed me was so weird that if I didn't immediately do this, that I was never going to do it. So I instantly made like 5 batches in a couple days. And I found that the more I did this, the better I got at it. So you can see it getting tighter. I'm going to go like 50 more times. See, there's no pushing it around. You couldn't do it. You couldn't push this around. But it will wind you. So I'll go 20 more. 20. And into the bowl. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that into that oven or wherever you want to proof it for an hour. And then we'll do a turn. So I'll see you then.